gone green, and at the back on the outside is Kai Laukkanen, the Finn for Bellevue. And it's Mick Postlewhite's finger that allows the pace to go up, and there they go, and a tremendous start for the two Oxford riders. Round the outside in blue goes Lucas Trimmel. Inside him is Lee Adams, now putting them under pressure in yellow. Kai Laukkanen and Stuart Robson tucking on the short line on the inside, but in last place now. But a battle out front, and team riding for Oxford could clinch a 5-1 to start. A good start for them, Chris.
Perfect start for them, completely different to what we saw at Poole from them. They've made a good start in Heat 1. You've got Lee Adams doing a nice job on the inside, covering the inside, looking for Lucas Trimmel on the outside as well. So they look quite comfortable at the moment. Obviously, they've got the home track advantage. They know exactly where to ride, even at this early stage.
A reminder, the home team riders, of course, the Oxford Cheetahs wear the red and the blue helmet colours. The visitors from Belle Vue, white and yellow and black. And at the moment, the front two for Oxford. The man in blue on the outside, Lucas Trimmel. He has a chance to look back at his teammate, Lee Adams. Back in third place in yellow is Kai Laukkanen. Round the top end they go. This will be a 5-1 to Oxford, surely. The winner in blue is Lucas Trimmel, doing just what he needed to, ahead of Lee Adams in red. Third place, and the consolation point goes to Kai Laukkanen for Belle Vue. But it's 5-1 indeed for Oxford to start, and that's exactly how they wanted to make their bid for the playoffs as current league champs side. Gate 2 for Oxford, Mark Lemon. Blair Scott it is for Belle Vue in the yellow helmet colours, going from gate 3 on the outside. The veteran, near veteran now, Alan Rossiter, runs a pub down in speed. Up by the tapes again, and certainly Alan Rossiter on the outside does get a good start, picks up grip and moves smartly into second place behind Thomas Yedrayak, the promising pole. Rossiter in second place. Back in third place in red is Mark Lemon. Tailed off at the back is Blair Scott, who has work to do. But a great start by Yedrayak, the pole here, who should get a share of the points for Belle Vue. And this could colour the future of the meeting as they stretch out down the back straight. Rossiter in second place. Back in third is Mark Lemon, but the pole going well, Chris.
Absolutely, yeah, he made a great start. He's done it from the start, and you said he's been a little bit inconsistent this year, but Oxford will be looking for some consistency from him tonight. And Alan Rossiter's looking quite comfortable in second place. He's not been on the bike much this year, but he's doing quite well at the moment.
Well, they go into the final lap now with the pole stretching his lead here and looking very comfortable on this well-prepared Sandy Lane circuit. A credit to the track curator, Colin Meredith, and the man in green there, Thomas Yedrayak, is going to become the first heat winner of the night for Belle Vue. He certainly does. Second place goes to Rossiter. A good comeback to Elite League Speedway in blue. Third place in red goes to Mark Lemon. And that's a split of the points at Oxford 3. The visitors from Belle Vue 3, which gate 2 is Jason Lance, his first ride of the night for Belle Vue. Gate 3 is the captain of Oxford, Steve Johnston, who needs 2 points for 250 Elite League bonus points in his career. And on the outside is the experienced twice-time Danish champion, Brian Karger. Another competitors there. Our starting marshal moves away with a purpose and almost a false start there. And certainly the man in green was Jason Lyons, who tried to anticipate the start, and it hasn't paid off. And I'm sure the referee is going to pull them back there for an unsatisfactory start with Jason Lyons, the man who was moving. I'm sure we get a chance to see that again. But referee tonight, Mick Postlewhite, away they go. This time it's a good one on blue on the inside. Mark Lemon, track experience, of course, from that previous race. Moving into second place in yellow, Brian Karger lips through on the inside. Back in third place in green, that's Jason Lyons. In red, right at the back, is the Oxford captain, Steve Johnston. And certainly here, not the starting order that we might have expected. And Mark Lemon is looking good out front.
Yeah, Mark came from the start, made an excellent start. I thought perhaps Brian Karger was going to get up the inside of him down that back straight, but he's looking behind him at the moment. He can't see his inspiring captain because he's at the back, although Jason Lyons is now moving out and having a really good go up the outside. He's got plenty of speed, and it's all getting close at the front now.
Lap and a quarter to go. Jason Lyons putting the leader Mark Lemon under pressure. A battle of two Australians here. Both, of course, come from Victoria. Battle on the back too as Steve Johnson tries to get on terms in the red helmet colour for Oxford. But round the top end they go. Mark Lemon set to win this. Lyons is putting him under pressure. It's going to be mighty close, but in the end, Mark Lemon wins it in the blue helmet colours, and Jason Lyons in green has to be satisfied with second place. Brian Karger gets third, and a real disappointment for the Oxford captain, Steve Johnson at the back. We can see it there though, and the man in blue quite clearly, Mark Lemon, is the winner of that one. And well, who finished second in his opening ride, goes to the inside gate. Blair Scott failed to score. Last place of reserves heat goes gate 2 for Belle Vue. For Oxford, David Howe, who's in action tonight as a guest replacement. He goes in gate 3 on the outside. Away we go, and a great start by the man in to surprise them all, but Crump goes round the outside, and Crump in the green helmet colours doesn't take his teammate with him, but he does take with him David Howe. But Jason Crump has picked his racing line, and Jason Crump now leads David Howe of Oxford in second place. Third in yellow's Blair Scott for Belle Vue. Right at the back in blue is Alan Rossiter, but a flyer by Jason Crump.
Yeah, he got round the outside, but it was a very surprising start from Blair Scott. He made an excellent start to head Jason Crump going into that first turn, but Jason's looking quite comfortable now. He's
Well, a real battle there we see at the back. The man in blue there is Alan Rossiter coming through, indeed, to pass Blair Scott, who's now gone from first to last in the course of 2 laps. And into the final lap they go now, with Jason Crump for Belle Vue leading round the top bend and down the back straight ahead of David Howe. And this is going to be another 3-all if it stays like this, because Blair Scott's at the back. Jason Crump is at the front, and Jason Crump takes the checkered flag ahead of David Howe in the red helmet colours for Oxford. His Oxford teammate Alan Rossiter in blue gets the 3rd place there to Thompson, the Oxford captain from gate 2. Stuart Robson guesting from Coventry, now Coventry reserve. He's the guest replacement for Sam Omalenko. If you see Omalenko on the back of his leathers, on the outside, the very busy Mark Lemon. Motors roar and away they go, and a real flyer from Steve Johnson this time who's put things right. Round the outside his teammate Mark Lemon, a chance of a 5-1 for Oxford here, and that would certainly be what they want. Belle Vue, of course, could then introduce a tactical substitute, but back in 3rd place in yellow is Kai Laukkonen. Stuart Robson struggling at the back and going wider with the Ermolenko leathers, but 1 and 2 it remains in either order at the moment. In blue Mark Lemon, in red Steve Johnston, and Belle Vue have a 5-1 advantage going into the second half of the race.
Yeah, Oxford looking very comfortable at this point. It was a perfect start and first corner from both of them, from Steve Johnson and Mark Lemon, and you can see Jono's having a little look behind there. He's just covering that inside. He wants to know where the opposition are. At the moment, they don't seem to be bothering him too much, but Mark Lemon's looking very impressive tonight. He's looking very comfortable, very confident, and I think he could be the trump card for Oxford.
Down the back straight they go. In front is Mark Lemon in blue for Oxford. Second place in red, Steve Johnston. Laukkonen putting them under pressure, but in the end it's going to be a 5-1, and Lemon the winner. A good night for him at the moment in blue. In second place in red is captain Steve Johnston. Third in yellow goes Kai Laukkonen. That's a 5-1 to Oxford, who now open up the gap by 19 points to 11. Belle Vue, the flying Aussie Jason Crump. Fellow Australian Lee Adams, 6 times an Australian champion, goes from gate 3 in red. On the outside is Thomas Jedrajak, the young Pole, and I have to tell you, his best away point happened here. Away goes our starting marshal. A flyer on the inside once again for Dribble. Crump trying to pick up on the inside. Round the outside in red goes Lee Adams. The Oxford pair in front. Crump relegated into 3rd place. Right at the back is Thomas Jedrajak. But look at this Oxford pairing, and Lee Adams has now got the flyer into lap 2 ahead of Lucas Dribble, and Crump has a battle on his hands to close that gap.
Yeah, again, it's Oxford out in front again from the start. I spoke to Jason Crump actually before the meeting, and he said that one thing he's struggling with at the moment is too much wheel spin off the start, and you can't afford to let the guys get out in front of you here at Oxford. It's a tough track to pass on, and at the moment he's got 2 very fast guys out in front of him.
Well, Lee Adams is stretching his lead out front. Crump perhaps have a chance of snatching second place now as he goes into the final lap and puts Lucas Dribble under some pressure, but Dribble's in control of the track. Dribble's now got some grip on the outside, and with 2 bends to go, Crump's got a battle in the green, but out front in red, Lee Adams is going to take the checkered flag, and with him takes his teammate in blue, Lucas Dribble, and Jason Crump is relegated to 3rd place, which makes a 5-1 to the home side Oxford yet again, who now lead 24-12, and Belle Vue have something of a mountain. Mark Lemon. Well, here Belle Vue have got to do something, and Brian Carger and Jason Lyons in this, I would think it's possibly their best chance, Chris, to close the game. Up by the tapes, and again a great start. Oh, they're tough on that first bend now, and certainly 1 and 2 for Belle Vue, and this is what they want in yellow. Brian Carger the Dane out front in green. Jason Lyons in second place. The man in red in third coming through is David Howe. Mark Lemon is fouled off at the back, and could this be the start of a comeback for Belle Vue, because Brian Carger and his teammate Jason Lyons being put under pressure, but at the moment they're in control.
Yeah, this is great to see for Belle Vue. They certainly needed this at this point of the meeting, and they're going to put a few points back here, but it's not all over yet. Jason Lyons has come under a lot of pressure from David Howe, and it's nice to see Brian Carger looking very comfortable out there. He was a bit nervous coming into this meeting, but he's going away at the moment. Perhaps he should be hanging back for Jason and giving him a hand, I think.
Yes, well, Brian Carger, of course, missed the early one, but look at the battle in second place. Brian Carger didn't race here early in the season for Belle Vue, but in this one, he's showing that he likes the track, and this could be the first 5-1 of the night. Indeed, the first heat advantage for the visitors from Belle Vue. A good win by the man in yellow, Brian Carger. His teammate and partner in green, Jason Lyons, takes second place. David Howe third in red, but the 5-1 there to Belle Vue, their first heat advantage.
Tell us, have you made any changes to your bike since the last heat you was in?
I haven't been here for a few years, so it took me a race to sort the bag out and knowing the setup, so I changed a couple of things and it seems to work better.
Can you tell us what you have changed, or is that secret?
Well, I've changed a couple of things on the clutch and the ignition and, you know, just normal things that you normally do, so...
And you're obviously happy with the way the bike's performing now?
If you can get out to start, you got all the track for yourself sort of thing, you know, there's not a lot of passing out there, so yeah, it seemed to work okay.
Very well done.
2 is Alan Rossiter for Oxford. Gate 3 for Belle Vue, the flying Finn, Kai Laukkanen. On the outside is Lucas Trimmel in red. The tactics here are when you...
He'll be looking for some points from him.
Well, Crump only got a third place last time out. Can he improve on that? He's made the gate. Jason Crump in yellow is in front. Round the outside, his teammate and partner in blue is Kai Laukkanen. This is a 1 and 2 for a 5-1 for Belle Vue. That's exactly what John Hall, their team manager, will be looking to achieve with this. And now back in third place is Lucas Trimmel. Really struggling is Alan Rossiter. And look, there's smoke pouring from the back of the machine of the man in yellow, Jason Crump, who clearly has got something problem there, Chris.
Yes, I think he has. John Hall is going to be biting his fingernails at this point. I think maybe it's just an overfill of oil coming out of the breather pipe. They have a breather pipe for the engines, and perhaps he's just got too much oil or maybe a loose side cover. I don't think it's a major problem. Possibly he would have stopped by now if it was.
Well, he's hanging on, is Jason Crump. Out front, though, he's made space for his teammate, Kai Laukkanen. Smoke pouring from the back of Jason's Crump machine, being worn down now by Lucas Trimmel. Round that top bit, Crump will need to hang on. He needs everything to hold on, and he's going to just do it in green. The winner is undoubtedly Kai Laukkanen. Jason Crump in yellow looks down at his machinery. He really must wonder what happened there. Lucas Trimmel at the back.
Car broke and jammed all up in the back wheel. The bike was going so slow, I was waiting for Trimmel to come by, but...
Did it actually? There is the bolt. There it is on the ground, mate.
Okay.
We found it.
There you go.
You need it back?
No, thanks. It's okay.
That's a spare one.
I'll throw it into my Cowley fan club here.
Yeah, they're not giving you a wild reception, are they?
Funny bunch down here.
How are you going, though? I mean, that is so turned around this meet very quickly.
I made a bit of a mistake, I think, in the first 2 races. I had a brand new engine off Peter Johns, and he tries to set them up soft for tracks like this, but he can't help but make big horsepower. And it was a bit of a handful to ride in the first 2 races, and that one I just jumped on the old slug, and it's definitely working better around here.
Okay, well that's good news for you, but it's certainly good news for the team. 2 5-1s back to back. All of a sudden 3 heats ago you're out of it. Now you're right back in it.
Yeah, I mean that's how quickly things can turn around, and you know, that's a lot of times people write Belle Vue off and say we're not that good a team, but when things are clicking for us, we are quite a good team. And
well, to be honest, on paper all year you've looked great.
Yeah.
You've had a few problems yourself, had injuries.
Guys, I'd like Lee Chapley. He's got to actually go in the next heat. I've just found out. Well, they're still working on your bike. You can ask your question.
We've got plenty of time, don't worry.
I know you want to go, but you keep an eye on it. When you feel like you've got to go, you go. But go on, what was your question?
Well, on paper, earlier in the season, like you look like one of the pre-season favourites, but things just haven't quite clicked, have they?
Yeah, it's been disappointing. You know, like you said, I was injured for 4 or 5 weeks early on, and you know, Sam wasn't going brilliantly, and you know, Brian struggled a bit, and kind of we all just kind of got back together, and Sam goes and breaks his wrist, and it's really disappointing because he was starting to hit a bit of form as well. And yeah, I think we're a relatively decent team, and I think that, you know, with a bit of luck tonight, we might be able to surprise a few viewers.
Okay. And ironically, you still could get in that top 5, and then it's all to ride for then, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that'd be a bit of a miracle if that happened, to be honest. But yeah, we're certainly, we want the extra meetings, we want the extra income, so we want to try and go for it and get in them.
Well, bonus point tonight, possibly. That'll put you 3 more, then maybe another 3 at Ipswich.
Never know.
You never know.
You
well, never say never.
You're responsible for that smell in the air, aren't you? That fiberglass smell.
Stink.
I thought it was Kai's bike in front of me, and you know, as soon as I went over the line,
we knew better.
All right, we'll let you go and salvage your
Heat in 9. He goes as a reserve for Oxford in gate 2. Thomas Jedrajak, the pole, goes in gate 3. On the outside is Steve Johnson. Mark Lemon so far paid 8 for gun the tyres as they go round. And Away goes our starting marshal, up by the tapes, and Jason Crump's got a flyer on the inside. His teammate and partner, Yetraya, goes down the outside. And look at this, Bellevue 1 and 2. Back in third place in red, the Oxford captain, Steve Johnston. Tailed off at the back now. In blue is Mark Lemon, but this is going the way of Bellevue. And if it stays like this, it will level up after this heat. But there's quite pressure from Steve Johnston on the man in yellow, Yetraya, in that second place, Chris.
Yeah, Jono's going to keep applying the pressure. He doesn't want these guys to pull back on level terms, which they will be after this race if it stays the same. And Jason certainly seems to have found a setup now. Obviously, we heard previously he was trying a new engine early on in the meeting, which obviously wasn't working for him, but he's way out in front, looking smooth and confident at the moment. And yeah, Drayak's doing a job, keeping John out at the back, but only just.
Well, I don't think he's going to do it unless he can pick up grip here, Steve Johnston. And really, there I have to say, I'm not quite sure who was in the wrong there, because it seemed to me that Steve Johnston took the ground of the pole, but, well, certainly Jason Crump winning that in green. In second place now in red. That is the second place. Third place now goes to Mark Lemon in blue, which makes it a 3-all. But Bellevue will be desperately disappointed with that, because certainly coming round there, Steve Johnston, and I'm sure we'll see it again, seemed to interrupt the path of the man in...
Jono's just sneaking up the inside of Thomas Jedrzak there, and you can see now coming off the corner, Jedrzak decided to turn back. Jono's really only held his line. I think perhaps Thomas Jedrzak has to go. I'm not 100% sure what the decision is yet, but you can see Jono is coming around the inside, he's holding his line. You can see at this point Thomas looks up, decides yes, it's time to turn back, and it's all a little bit too late for him, and he goes down quite hard on that shoulder too.
Well, we've got the result. The referee says the result stands. A little bit unfortunate for Tom on the inside gate for Bellevue in yellow. Gate 2, Lucas Strimmel for Oxford so far with 6 points, paid 7 to his name from his 3 rides. Gate 3, Jason Lance. All that work on his machine in the pinch for the Aussie from Bellevue. And on the outside, another Aussie, of course, the 6 times Aussie champion is Lee Adams. They keep trying. Oh, nearly a movement. All sorts of things happening in the tapes there, but in the end, in green, Jason Lance will pick up grip. But look at the Oxford man coming through from last to first. A tremendous ride by Lee Adams, who didn't make the tapes, but came all the way through there, and now is going wide where there is some grip. And Lee Adams will extend in lead in front of Jason Lance in second place. It could be a 3-all, because third is Brian Carger, right at the back, Lucas Strimmel.
Yeah, Lee Adams out in front, certainly using that dirt line, but we've got Jason Lyons just taking a look up the inside. You've got to be very fast around here to pass Lee Adams at Oxford, but that interesting first corner from Lucas Strimmel almost looked like perhaps he was under team orders to move out and slow Brian Carger and Jason Lyons down.
Well, it's going to be a 3-all if it stays like this, but Lee Adams goes into the final lap for Oxford in front. Lucas Strimmel struggling to make an impression right at the back, but in second place now in green it's Jason Lyons as they go into the top bend round by the pitch there now. And certainly a late challenge coming in for the man in blue, Lucas Strimmel, but in the end, certainly a comfortable win in red for Lee Adams. Green in second place, Jason Lance for Bellevue. Brian Carger, his teammate, third in yellow. Yes, from Wolves. Kai Laukkonen, the Finn for Bellevue, goes in gate 2. Mark Lemon, very busy, his 6th ride of the night. That's on gate 3, and on the outside, Stuart Robson yet to score as guest, but wearing Sam Ermolenko's leathers. An important heat, this, of course, at the moment, a 4th in this one. Our starting marshal has been very busy tonight as Clive Urban, away they go. And certainly a good challenging battle of that first bend, won by the man in blue, Mark Lemon. Round the outside, though, going from last and putting pressure to pick up first place is Stuart Robson, who's finding something. Back in third place in red, it's David Howe. But here goes Stuart Robson, the guest. In green here, a tremendous ride by him now, cutting inside Mark Lemon. What a battle in this one.
Absolutely superb first lap there from Stuart Robson. Mark Lemon's out in front, but Stuart Robson's putting him under all sorts of pressure. He's moving from one side of the track to the other. That boy's got more moves than Michael Jackson.
Oh, down he goes.
One too many.
Scott Robson tumbles out of that one, and this will now be a 5-1 to Bellevue, because the referee's letting it carry on as Robson at the back gets his bike off the track and goes into the final lap for Mark Lemon in front, with in second place David Howe in red, and this will open it up again and give the opportunity for a tactical substitution should Bellevue wish, but their battle is going to be intense to continue. And the winner there in blue, Mark Lemon, ahead of his teammate and partner in red, David Howe. Third in yellow, the consolation point for Kai Laukkanen, but it's a 5-1 in favour of the home team.
A few problems with the belt drive this year. Certainly, on more than one occasion, he's broken belts, and you know, he's turned to the chain drive again, which means he's changed the whole clutch, which can unsettle him a little bit.
There's the lineup. Steve Johnson on the inside in movement. Again, our starting marshal. The referee with Possum White. Away they go. Tremendous battle on the outside. Jason Lance in green will pick up speed. In front at the moment in yellow is his teammate Jedrajak. It's Bellevue 1 and 2. Could they close the gap? The pursuit in red is Steve Johnson. Back at the rear in blue, that's Alan Rossiter. But down and past the first slap, past the starting gate again, is a tremendous down, and the back goes Alan Rossiter at the back. Is down, and really there, Bellevue will hope he doesn't stay off the track. And I don't know whether our referee will have to stop it. And whether Alan Rossiter is hurt, I hope it wasn't a tactical laydown, Chris, with Bellevue 1 and 2 here, because in third place was Steve Johnson, and Alan Rossiter's tumble means there'll be a restart, and I'm sure it'll be without Alan Rossiter there. But disappointment for the two riders for Bellevue, Jason Lance and Thomas Jedrajak, who were in front and set for a 5-1 to close the gap at the point that happened. But we never know whether it was a tactical lie down or whether he's genuinely injured and hurt there.
Again, he's I think he's just hit a bump which has actually lifted his back wheel off the ground just as he was going to turn the bike. He slid down fairly gracefully, but you know, when you're doing that sort of speed on that surface, you can get a few bumps and bruises.
Well, he faces a long walk back to the in red. Thomas Jedrajak, the young pole for Bellevue, goes from gate 2. The blank space in gate 3 is the exclusion of the unfortunate Alan Rossiter. On the outside is Jason up by the takes. Oh, yeah, Jedrajak is left at the start here. He's completely stalled his machine. Now, this is going to make it even worse because he will get no points at all, because as soon as he's lapped, it'll mean that he cannot count in this heat, and it couldn't be worse for Bellevue, who are going for a 5-1, and now with Steve Johnson in the red helmet colours in the lead, it's going to be 3-2 the other way. How can a meeting change, Chris Louis?
Yeah, I can't believe Thomas Jedrajak's luck. He's going from bad to worse, but Jono's out in front now, and obviously Oxford are going to be taking a 1-point advantage from this race when really it should have been a Bellevue 5-1. But it's nice to see Jono out in front now. He's not had the best of meetings tonight, but he's looking fairly comfortable in this one. Jason Lyons looking to chase him down, but I don't think he's going to make any ground up on him.
The Oxford captain, Steve Johnson, set for his first heat victory of the night in the red helmet colours, down the back straight. An anti-climax to this heat. He's now being put under pressure by Jason Lyons, coming off the bend, but Johnston holds on in the red helmet colours. Lyons takes second place in green. It's simply 3 points to 2 in favour of the home team, Oxford. The meeting now perhaps falling a little bit flat because it's 40-31, and it could have been so very different had Thomas...
The 3-2.
Yeah, well, that's Speedway, isn't it? It's been up and down. I really expected us to have a bit easier run than we've had tonight without sounding funny, you know, with them having Sam out. But they've given us a bit of a push, so we're on our toes still.
That heat was certainly entertaining. You got 7 points in total. Are you happy with the way that your performance has gone tonight?
Other than my last in my first ride, it was all right, but I hate running a last, you know, so it doesn't kick your night off well. If you have a win in your first one, get a bit of confidence and you can really have a good night. But when you run a last in your first ride, it really gives you a kick in the guts. So hopefully I can come back from it.
I was going to say, you just got the win there, so hopefully you're going to come back and we're going to see some more excellent racing from you.
I'll try my best.
OK, thanks very much. Back to you.
8:13. We look across the starting line. In green, Jason Lyons in as a tactical substitute. Delayed, of course, 2 races in a row. In gate 2 in red, that's Lee Adams. They won't go until Jason Lyons arrives. In gate 3 in yellow, it's Jason Crump on the outside. David Howe, the guest for the home side in a blue. But it must be a 5-1 to Bellevue. Away we go, and lifting on the inside in green there is Jason Lyons, but Jason Crump trying to pick it up round the outside, cutting back inside Lee Adams here, and he wins the battle of the Australians, of which there are 3 in this. Jason Lyons is back third, Lee Adams in second. Lyons is putting Adams under pressure. Crump out front, right to the back in blue is David Howe, but the 3 Aussies, 1, 2, 3, Crump leads Adams, leads Lyons. That's how it is down the back straight.
Yeah, this is just what Bellevue needed. It's looking good for the guys at the moment. You can see Jason Lyons is still really having a go at Lee Adams. It's very rare that Lee Adams gets past around here at Oxford, but Jason's certainly chasing him down, and we've got the other Jason Crump, looking real quick out front.
A real battle in second place now. It's not over yet with a lap to go. Tipping through on the inside is Jason Lyons. Adams closes the gate. Lyons tries the outside, gets grip, goes for speed, and gets it and cuts him up. A tremendous ride. Adams will probably come back again. It's still on in second place, but in the end, Lyons gets it, but just, and a tremendous 5-1 indeed for Belle Vue, created out of nothing there, and Jason Lyons in second place there.
Where we're looking at Jason Lyons coming round the outside of Lee Adams, such a smooth move. That's the sort of thing that Jason can do, but to do that to Lee Adams at Oxford is fantastic.
What a spectacular ride by Jason Lyons.
Right, it wasn't hooking up as good as what I wanted, you know, but just tried harder, you know, every corner, and ended up getting it hooking up, and, you know, caught Lee on a slick part, I think, so it's always good to beat Lee on his home track.
You've come second in every heat that you've been in so far.
Yeah, it's I've been struggling for wins for a couple of meetings now, and that's the first one for a long time, so I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, thanks very much.
Mark Lemon in blue on the inside for Oxford. Gate 2 for Belle Vue is Brian Carger, the Dane. Gate 3, Lucas Drimmel. On the outside for Belle Vue is Blair Scott, who's yet to score a point tonight. Heat 14, one more to go. The big Dane surely in that one. Away they go. Real fly now from Brian Carger. Just what he wanted. He wants his teammate with him, but nipping through on the inside in red is Lucas Drimmel. And now Drimmel is going to be put under pressure by Carger. Drimmel's teammate Mark Lemon's back in third place. Blair Scott in the yellow helmet colour is right at the back. But a flyer now from Lucas Drimmel, and this could be enough to win Oxford the meeting, and perhaps the bonus point as well.
Yeah, it was Brian Carger from the start, using all his experience, but the young Lucas Drimmel just made a lovely first corner, dived up the inside, and he's looking good at the moment. He's keeping an eye on Brian Carger. He knows that Brian Carger's got all the experience. He keeps taking a little look back, just keep an eye on him, but at the moment he's going away with it and looking pretty smooth.
Well, what a night Mark Lemon's had. This is his 7th ride of the night. He's going to get a point into the bag here, Mark Lemon, and certainly out front in red. He'll be pleased with Lucas Drimmel, who's going to get, for him, his second heat victory of the night. And Lucas Drimmel in the red helmet colours is going very, very well. The checkered flag beckons to the man who'll be in the Czech Grand Prix on Saturday. He wins that in red ahead of in green, Brian Carger in second place. Third place in blue goes to Mark Lemon. That's 4 points to 2 in favour of the home team Oxford. It's now 45-30 from Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. It's the man from Kalgoorlie for Oxford on the inside in red. Jason Lyons from Mildura for Belle Vue goes from gate 2. Lee Adams from Mildura in Victoria goes from gate 3 for Oxford. On the outside is the Gold Coast man who was born in Newport, South Wales, Jason Crump, who goes from the outside. That's the lineup, an all Aussie. Barney Marshall moves away with a purpose to take fire, and it's a real flyer from Jason Lyons in the green helmet colour. Crump is at the back and has work to do. Down the outside in the blue helmet colours, that's Lee Adams putting them under pressure. Coming through in red is Johnston, but look at this. If it stays like this, it'll be 3-all for the heat, and the bonus point will go to Oxford, but Crump will put them under pressure surely. Out front, Lyons is under pressure. Crump has work to do in the back.
Great start from Jason Lyons. He's out in front, and I don't think Lee Adams would be too confident about passing him, having already been passed by him in a previous race. But Jason Crump, we're looking at this dice at the back, the all-important dice at the back, and I think Jason Crump is on his way past. He's certainly, yes, he's having a good go.
Well, he's certainly trying, and he is through now in front of the man in red, Steve Johnson. If it stays like this, it'll be 4-2 to Belle Vue, and that'll be enough to clinch the bonus point for them. Remember, these bonus points come. Look at this. What a battle out front, because Lee Adams is trying, but he can't quite catch the man in front. And in green, it's won by Jason Lyons, and that was enough with Jason Crump in third place in the yellow helmet colours. Lee Adams getting second in blue, but the 4-2 margin for the visitors from Belle Vue was enough to make it 47.